I'm Greg Duville, the real estate broker. Have you fallen too far behind on your mortgage? I can sell your home and save your equity with a pre-foreclosure sale. Also, it's a great time to buy a home while interest rates are really low. Veterans, you are now eligible to reinstate your DD-214 with no money down. So whether buying or selling, Greg Deville can help. Call or text today, 702-787-7559. Again, 702-787-7559. Greg Deville, the real estate broker.
All right, good morning, Las Vegas. Greg Duville back in the studio one more time. Excited about great information to share with you. As usual, we're here on Thursdays at 3 p.m. We're going to talk more about real estate and give you an opportunity to get your chance to own your own home. It's a great weekend on the way. We're excited about everything that's going on. We are so excited. Interest rates have gone out of the roof. I have been speaking to many of you about interest rates. Very, very important. Interest rates determine your monthly payment. Now, speaking to a lender, got to the studio a little bit earlier. I was speaking to the lender, and I wanted to know, what are the rates looking like today? Because yesterday was somewhere else, okay? Every day the stock market is somewhere else, and so are the interest rates. So what that does to your interest rates is it drives the industry. Whether your rates are up, makes your mortgage payment up. If your mortgage are fair, guess what? You have a fair mortgage. But the great part about it all is, guess what? It's a fixed rate. So the rate doesn't change. It's a fixed rate. It stays there for 30 years. So you don't have to gamble. You don't have to take a chance. You don't have to fear. It's a fixed rate. Now, unless you're a savvy investor, then of course you can do an adjustable rate. And those are, again, savvy investors. We would not recommend doing an interest-only loan for owner-occupant. Okay, unless you have something that you're doing that will create you to settle the loan. But there are many investors who, yes, do own, interest only and very well doable. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this rental market right now because I'm getting calls weekly on the rental market. What is going on? Everyone says, my landlord just went up $300. Well, I got a lady last year, her landlord went $400 at one moment. That's right. Your lease is expiring. They can go up $500, whatever they decide, because there is no rent cap. There is no rent control. And so it's time. And I've been saying this for the longest, and people are now calling me as if they're just getting what I've been saying. I've been saying this all along while the rates have been fair. Okay. Many of you missed the boat of a fair market rate, an interest rate. The interest rate right now, wow. For one of our programs that's out there, we do have a Home is Possible program. That Home is Possible program showing to be about a 4.625. Okay, that's a one that just came about, 4% assistance. Okay, now if you go through a program, of course, the funding could be a little bit more costly for you. However, if you have a 401k, I can get you in with as low as a 580 credit score using your 401k. Someone just asked, well, how much of it would I need? Right now, the average median home price is about $430,000. So figure 3.5% of that. So let's figure you need, with closing costs and down payment, if you've got at least, let's say $20,000 minimal in your 401, we can get you into a property. Now, you may not be at $400,000, but guess what? Just for the sake of minimals, you can get into a home with a fixed interest rate. No more landlord contacting you to say rates have changed. We're going to do away with changing of the rates. Today I talked about, if you look at the post, it says renting increase, right? So own. Then you won't have to worry about anyone ever contacting you again to say that we're going up on the rent. The interest rate is fixed for 30 years. Isn't that great? That's good information. I want you to lock that in. Get a pen, tell a friend. Greg Deville is at it again. He's got more great information to give to you to share with someone you know. Maybe you own a home. Maybe you're in a good position, but you know someone this information can help. Live on the radio this wonderful Thursday afternoon, a little after 3 o'clock. I'm so excited about the weekend. So much going on. The weather's going to be great, at least for the next couple of days. It's a beautiful day outside. It's a great opportunity for you to get in, take the opportunity of what's available. We have no money down program. We have conventional. We have veteran programs available. As many of you know, as veterans, you do not That's right. You do not pay a down payment. So why are you renting someone's home who can go up on your rent and you're a veteran? Well, maybe because you've been procrastinating and you haven't done what you need to do. And that's what? Contact Greg Deville's team, 702-787-7559. Team Duville, 702-787-7559. Greg Deville, the one you need to know in the town. We've got a great team, 42 agents, 3 locations. This is what we do. We're excited, man. And look, I'll tell you what. If you contact my office, we're going to do our best to get you a game plan. Now, maybe you're not ready to purchase right now. Let's say maybe you have some challenges, as my wife and I, when we started 6 years ago. We started in this home buying process. We originally we weren't ready. We weren't in position. But the lenders I work with, here's what they like to do. Give you a game plan. And if they don't give you a game plan, call me back and I will get on them, because they already know. Give them a game plan. If they're not ready now, then what do you need to do to get in position? Very important. You've got to be in position. Coach, put me in the game. You haven't been working out. You're not in position. You're not fit. You've got to work out. You've got to be ready for what's next on a play. The play that we're about to run is getting you into home ownership. That's the next game plan. Hey, Dunn, how you doing, man? Thank you for tuning in. Bishop Williams Roll Jones, good afternoon, sir. Good to see so many of you tuned in with us this afternoon. Listen, we want to make sure we're giving the community what is needed to empower you into home ownership. Get out of that rental. Run. Get away fast as you can. It's very important that you do this. I'll tell you what. It's a great time. I'm doing well, Dunn, man. Everything's going great. Doing what we do. Share this information with someone. Again, my contact information, 702-787-7559. Greg Duville, Team Duville at Deville Realty Group, live on Facebook, live on radio. This is what we do at Hot 702.5 FM. We want to make sure we're getting the word out as we're everywhere around town, doing what we do. Now, again, rental increase, there's no limits. These landlords are going up seems like everyone that has contacted me thus far, and their lease is expiring. Because remember, as long as you're in a lease, they can't change the rent. They can't change in a lease. Just like if they decide to sell and you're in a lease, they can't put you out, okay? Because you're in a lease. You're locked into a lease. So you can't be made to vacate the property. However, if they do decide to sell, they have to sell to someone that has to allow you to live out your lease term. Okay, so just keep in mind, landlords are thinking about selling. If you're a landlord and you're thinking about selling, listen, Team Duville, this is what we do. We can help you sell your home and save your equity. That's right. Sell your home and save your equity. This is what Greg Duville does, my team. Listen, we're a team of 42. With 3 locations. We are loving what we're doing. We have helped so many families, and I love running into the community and say, Deville, you helped my family get into a home, man. We appreciate you. Listen, we're just doing our God-given assignment that's helping in the community, empowering you how to become a wealth builder. A wealth builder, someone that's creating equity. You're creating wealth through equity. That's my slogan at Deville Realty, creating wealth through equity. For example, so I got a client bought a home 5 years ago. They just did a remodified their loan. They did a cash out refinance. On the cash out, they have to do an appraisal. So when he did the appraisal, the value came back. Now they only owe 270 or somewhere around there. The value came back at 507. So that means they had over 230,000 in equity. Now, the lender said you can borrow up to 80% of that. So we did the math and said, wow, they could borrow up to $180,000 off your own property. Now, they did so. They didn't borrow that much, but they took some equity out, and the payment only went up $100. Now, they were at a 4.25% interest rate. They went to a lower interest rate to 2.99%. And it only went up $100, and they took out nearly $80,000. So these are the kind of things that's available to you when you're a homeowner. 702-787-7559. Greg Duville, Deville Realty Group. Rental increase. I'm back. It's like a preacher with a sermon. I'm on my sermon topic. Rental increase. It's crazy. And we sit back and we complain, but we don't do anything about it. I'm going to tell you how to make something happen. You want to bust a move? 702-787-7559. Make a move. Greg Deville's team can do it for you. We can help you get it done. Sell the home. If you got to sell it, many of you don't own. You're renting right now. Guess what? The landlords are having to sell. And because the landlords have to sell, because during the pandemic, the forbearance, many of them opt to the forbearance. But now the banks are requiring them to bring that money current, and they don't have the money to do it. And the bank is not willing to modify their loan, but they're 6-8 months in the rear. So guess what? It puts you in a position in many cases that, and you can't, some can't refinance. Now, there are many who can, because you have great equity in homes today. Values are up in the property value, which means you have a great amount of equity in many cases. But there are some who've pulled out the equity, but even so, they only allow you to take 80% of it. And so you still have a percentage in there. But again, for the safety of the investor, which is the bank, they will not allow you to pull it all out. Now, if you sell, you get the whole 100% of the equity in the property. Okay. Now, so I'm going to educate the community to understand when a landlord increases the rent, in many cases, because they did a forbearance, they're having to pay back any late fees and, all those numbers. They don't just forget that money. No, they couldn't bother you. But now that it's over, it ended back in October, you still owe 5, 6, 7, 8 months, however many months you were behind, you still owe that. Dennis, thank you for tuning in, my friend. So keep in mind, you owe that money, so you have to pay a little bit more every month to do what we like to call catch up. So many are having to catch up right now, and they're costing on the back of the renter. And the renter is catching up to exactly what the landlord has to do. Now, some landlords I meet, they say, hey, Duville, I hear you on the radio all the time. Look, I want to sell my property. And here's a great advantage we've had at Deville Realty and via radio, Facebook, and all the social media technology that we do use. We've been able to put many buyers into so say I have a listing and one of the agents, my wife or any other agent, may have a buyer. And so if the buyer goes and likes the house, the seller just wants to sell. Look, we make a marriage work, right? Isn't that how relationships go? You like me, I like you, we can do this, All right. But listen, so let's take the opportunity that's available, right? If you need to sell the home, some people are tired of being a landlord. It's a great investment, I'll tell you what, being a landlord, because you're getting double the amount of equity. But if your back's against the wall and you're at a place that's just not going to work, then by all means, do what you got to do. All right. Henry is watching. All right, Polo, good to have you with us on this afternoon. Again, there's Ron. Hey, Ron, thank you all for tuning in today. Now, VA, remember, if you're a veteran, there's no money down, right? It's predicated on your credit. Now, your FICO score determines how much you qualify up to. Now, remember, if you make only $60,000 a year, you possibly not going to be able to purchase a home at $500,000 because the rate, the amount. But again, that's something the lender has to deal with. Dennis is on the line right now. Dennis Thomas, CMG Financial. Listen, Dennis is one of our premier lenders who we love to use Dennis. Dennis goes in. Dennis is committed to the work. And again, Dennis knows, and like every other lender knows, Deville Realty, we work with about 9 lenders. Okay, because no one could keep up with the volume of calls that we do receive at Deville Realty Group. So we're honored. We're grateful for the amount of business that does come through Deville Realty Group. So Dennis was talking to me today. He says the DPA has a program, 3.5% down. But now to go through these programs, now many have to because saving that money can be challenging. Okay, so right now the average down payment is close to $15,000 to $19,000. Now, do you have that saved? If your answer is yes, 702-787-7559. If your answer is no, 702-787-7559. But the great part about the no to the answer is we have a solution, and that's called DPA, down payment assistance. So we can get you the assistance. However, the interest rate per one of our lenders on today, Dennis Thomas, we were on the line in the parking lot. He says, listen, if you've got to use the program, you're looking about, there's one that it's FICO score driven, about 5.25. 5.25. Well, even with that, he said one as home as possible. Chenoa 5.5. Oh wow. Yeah, these programs, so they cost you a little more, but and here's how it really works. So if you use the program, let's say the government is going to give you that $20,000, they have the right to say, I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to charge you 6% for it. Somebody said, "Oh, that's crazy." But let me turn you on to something here. If you're paying rent right now, you're paying 100% interest rate with no ROI, no return on your investment. So you're at 100% as it states right now, being a renter. So Dennis and I are going to get together. We're going to sell you this property, and we're going to get you a 6%, which sounds better. Let me say this: 6% with an ROI. Oh, this is getting good. Getting good down through here, isn't it? Like a good preacher sermon. Listen, 6% at an ROI means 6% at a return on your investment versus 100% on no ROI. Which way you want to go? Come to Jesus moment right here, isn't it? That's right. So it's not 6%. But I'm going to use for the sake of numbers, because Dennis gave me some numbers, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to just say 6%, because he gave me like 5.5, 5.875, like, whoa, we might as well say 6%. By the time you close the deal, because he can't lock the rate until we get close to closing the deal. So the rate could go up out of the roof before you close the deal, right? So he can't lock it in. So he can give you speculation of where it's going to be, but again, we don't know. With the war that's going on, and our hearts and prayers go to those many, many families. My God, it's terrible. But this thing has made the market so uncertain. Okay, so understand that. It's very uncertain right now as to where things are going to really determine where we're going to end up. But nonetheless, you are at 100%, 100. We always say 100, at 100. But you're at 100% interest rate when you're paying rent to someone. And God forbid they decide to sell, where are you going to go? You've already invested 4 years into this man's house. Well, let me say 3 years at $1,500. I know that math, so I can do that one, because that was me. So you're already 3 years in at $1,500 a month. You've already paid $54,000. Now he's going to sell. Wait a minute. Now you've got to find somewhere to go. Where are you going? God forbid you got to move. Let me tell you how you're going to move. Your next move is strategy. It's getting with Team Duville. Let's find out how to make this next move your best move. Checkmate. How are we going to checkmate? What are we going to do? 702-787-7559. That's what you're going to do. Contact Team Duville. Let us put you in the driver's seat with the coach, the man himself, or the lady, because I got about 9 lenders. I have about 5 men, 4 ladies. Listen, whomever's on the list next gets the phone call. Right? It's like appraisers today. You can't order an appraisal. The lender has to call a number. Whoever's on duty today gets the call. So that's kind of how it is in our lending with Deville Realty. Who's on call today? Right? Because we have so many and so many calls, no one can handle it all. So one of the things we talk about at Deville, in order to work with Deville, you got to accept it's about 9 of you guys. It's 42 agents on the team. Right? It's one big team, and we're helping families pull it together. Now, I want to get you out of a 100% interest rate into a 6% rate. Can I do that? It's still a little bit lower, but for the sake of numbers, it sounds much better, doesn't it? That's right. 100 versus 6%. The 100 is no return on your investment. The 6% is a return on your investment. What's your return? It's called equity. As values increase. So now we talk about, well, people, they say, Duville, you're the real estate guru. I thought I would have picked your brain, man. Let me say this. I had a family the other night wanted to take me out to dinner. One of our local DJs here in one of our other radio stations. And he says, I want to take you to dinner. My wife and I, we want to pick your brain. And they picked. But they left with answers. They have a great amount of equity in their home. What is beneficial for us to do with our equity? Ran down a few scenarios. They chose one that dealt right in their spirit. They said, this is it. Next day, they were on the phone with the lender. Lender called me and said, your boy called me today. Thank you, Duville. I said, you know what? But this is what we do. We empower the community how to get wealth. We empower the community how to live and get the equity out of a property versus giving it to a landlord. Now, I'm not bitter on landlords, but remember, being a renter is a Band-Aid on a scab. It's temporary. You got to take the bandage off, right? So I understand if you got to rent, but if you've been renting longer than 3 years, it's time to move on. And what happens, we get comfortable there, but and this is the reason I'm 3 days a week on radio, several radio stations here in town. But one of the reasons is because I want to raise your awareness, and because we didn't know we're paying mortgage already when we pay rent. Somebody just tuning in, you never heard this before, right? You're paying rent, but you're paying a mortgage at the same time. Sounds like an oxymoron, but I'll explain it to you. When you pay the rent, the landlord pays the rent to the mortgage company. So in essence, he's waiting on you to give it to him so he can pay it. I'm putting you in the driver's seat. I'm going to make you the pilot of this aircraft. Okay? Now, pay your own mortgage. Well, I don't have the money down. I got you. Pay your own mortgage. Well, I don't have enough job history. But how much job history do you have? Well, I just started this new job, but I was on my other job for 5 years. We got you. How do we have you on that? Well, here it is. Because the previous history, because most people transfer job in the same line of work. Why? Because you have experience. So if you're a nurse in Chicago and you moved here a year ago, well, you only have a year here, but you got 5 years there. Guess what? You get the history. We got you. Isn't that good stuff? 702-787-7559. Man, I'm telling you, I'm excited with this, man. I hope it excites you. I hope you feel my energy. I hope you run with this, because at the end of the day, I'm empowering you for generational wealth. That's right, Mike. Generational wealth. Can you hear me? Roger, can you hear me, man? Done. Generational wealth. This is what it's about. And so if money down is the problem, what did I say earlier? I got you. If you're a veteran and your scores are too low, listen, I got a program can get you in at a 560. Now, that just means you paid some of your bills. Now, look, if you got at least, and you're a veteran, you got at least that. Now, having better is great. I'm giving you my worst case scenario, telling you I can get you in. Now, the better your scores, the better your interest rates, right? So, but I don't want to discourage anyone. So everybody gets an opportunity. Now, it's never no. It may just be not right now. I want to reiterate that for you. It's never no. It's just not right now. Here's what you need to do to get in position to checkmate. You got to play the game. You got to deal with the elephant in the room and deal with your credit. Let me just be transparent. Your nephew, your cousin right here, Greg Duville, had credit challenges. 2014, 15, I tell you, life went upside down in 2008. 9, 10, 11, things just worsened. But in 14, the market was getting better. I was a realtor. But when we were making $12,000 on a house, the value went down to $2,500. So what does that do to my income? Because when the home value lost, so did my equity. Because remember, I'm paid 2 to 3% per transaction. So if that's a $400,000 house that I could sell and make $8,000, well, when that home went down to 90, that's where homes were going. In North Las Vegas, some of these homes went for $90,000. I saw one of those brand new 3-story homes, Tropical and Commerce. Those new homes built in 2006, I sold them for $96,000. Guess what that does to a commission? And they were only giving you 2%. Made $1,800, where I should have made, what we're making today. But praise God, we weathered the storm. We're still here to tell the story. I'm still here all these years. Real estate guru, they say. And so I concur. Real estate guru. Okay. But this is what I do. I enjoy it. I'm having fun. So if the money down is your challenge, I'm here to challenge your challenge. Can we do that? Mr. Engineer? Can I challenge your challenge? I be making up stuff, man. And whatever I got to do to push you. I want to push you into getting wealth. I want to drive it home as much as I can to say, look, it's your turn. It's your time. Make it happen, Captain. Alex Wells, one of the Deville Realty agents. Welcome to the show. So you've tuned into the Greg Duville Let's Talk Real Estate show right here at Hot 702.5 FM. Every Thursday, 3 to 4 p.m., we talk real estate. And we go in. I go in hard in the paint. You know why? Because sometimes as black people, we need that, though. You know, you go to the church and the preacher could be, well, things going to be okay. But that preacher that yelled at me helped me get out of there, and I understood some stuff much better, man. Man, you didn't get... That's just me, right? Right. I'm knucklehead. So, but yeah, I like that energy. I love the energy. So the energy helps drive it home. And so that's my thing to you, is I really want to drive home the reality of generational wealth. Because real estate is by far one of your greater investments. Now, I don't want you to be afraid to get into real estate. I have a client I'm working with, he's terrified. Well, it's my biggest investment. Just relax. You've been paying a mortgage a long time. You finally getting ready to pay your own, and now you're nervous. But you've been paying somebody else's rent for 30, 50 years. But now you get your own, you're terrified. Really? What are you scared of? This is yours. And it's a commitment for 30 years, but guess what? In the commitment, you get the equity. What are you scared of? But we get so accustomed to living life, paying rent, paying into somebody else's wealth, that when it's our turn, we want to shun. I'll tell you what. Grab your bootstraps, say, you know, we're going to make this happen, because I done paid. Man, just think, if you 45, you've been renting since you 50 years old, and you've been renting for 30 years. You've been renting for 30 years. Now you get a chance to buy. You terrified? Grow up. Thank God for the opportunity. You can get some down payment funding. They're gonna approve your crazy self for a loan, because you done did some foolish spending, wasting money. Have I done it as well? Yes, I'm guilty. Wasted a whole lot of money. But I'm grateful today. Someone like myself gave me information, so now I'm paying it forward to somebody else. Somebody told me about my credit. Said, Duville, there's a program, man, that's helping people get their credit on track. And I said, where's that? He gave me the information, man, and I got on the program. My credit got on track. I went from a low 5, high 4, low 5 to a 670 in under 60 days. Just by dealing with the elephant in the room. Many of you, deal with it. Accept it. Stop letting the landlords punk you. Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go there. But he doing what he wants. Just give me 400 this year. Really? So we going from 18 to 2,200? That's what we doing? And what you going to do? You going to move? Because you can't afford to move. Well, guess what? Because you're going to need 3 times the amount of rent now. So either you pay that 22 or you pay 42 to 5,200 to go get another spot. Do you have it? I tell you what, if you got $5,200, you better call Duville and let that money go towards some closing costs. Get my free money towards your down payment and get you some property. 702-787-7559. Greg Duville, Deville Realty Group. I just got to go in the way I go in. Can I just be me? I love you with the love of the Lord. I really do. I really appreciate all of you. Don't take it personal. I'm saying this to help you. And you're going to be grateful later. You're going to be like, Duville went in on me, man. And I have people call me and say, Duville, you went in today. But, man, thank you. Thank you, bro, because the reality was you were telling the truth. The reality was I was giving money to somebody else, man, and I could have been paying it to my own. You got a decent job. The fact you got a job. Now, maybe you can't buy the house you dream in right now. But guess what? You can get it by creating equity in the home you purchase. That's how you bust a move into creating wealth. Is by getting a property, starting there. So this client that has a $270,000 home mortgage balance, but it's worth $507,000, that $230,000 just living in the house for 5 years is theirs. And they could borrow up to 80%, which is like $182,000. Listen, that's good stuff. Where else could you go get $182,000? What could you sign to get $182,000? Because you're paying into it. Every month you pay rent or mortgage, you're paying into your own wealth. So that's the kind of thing we want to continue to make available to you. Okay, so again, thank you, Dennis, for sharing with us. So another point Dennis made while we were conversing over the phone line outside, waiting on the engineer to get in. I was just making some point. I said, "Hey, Dennis, man, let's chop it up for a minute." He said, "Duville, remind to tell him the FICO score determines the rate. Your FICO score, your credit score determines your rate." Now, I'm giving it to you straight from the lender, the horse's mouth. No disrespect intended, but the FICO score, your credit score, is going to determine your risk factor for the lender. So if you're so listen, some people have no credit. Do you realize no credit is worse than bad credit? Because at least with bad credit, I know you don't pay. With no credit, I don't know what you might do. It's hard to lend to somebody who doesn't have a credit line. A trade line, they like to call it. At least they can see your track record, right? They can see how you're doing in your payments. Oh, you suck in making payments. You don't do well on this. So I'm going to charge you a higher rate, and that's what happens. So when you don't pay your bills on time, your rate is higher because I'm really not sure. So they're gambling on you because you gamble every month by the way you pay your bills. So make a promise to yourself. Make a commitment, a vow that, you know what, I'm going to start paying. Find out from your creditor, call your credit card, when is the date of my reporting for my credit card. Your reporting date might be on the 19th of every month when it reports. So the lender was saying pay it 3 days prior so it shows right at the reporting date. You'll get the better credit. Contact one of my lenders. Let them show you how to do that so that you can get it right at the reporting time. Very important. Pay it every month. Don't double pay. I tried that before. Linda got mad at me. Said, Duville, you can't double pay because the next month it doesn't carry over. I guess they want to say idiot, but she wouldn't do me like that. But I was an idiot about it, right? When you don't know, you're an idiot. Well, at least me. I'm speaking for me. I don't make nobody mad. But I was an idiot with credit. I didn't understand how it worked. I understood use it, so I paid a double payment one month and realizing, you know what, Duville, my first chance of buying a house again, I blew it. She threw the file. She said, Duville, you messed up. I'm like, what'd I do? She said, you didn't pay the credit card. I said, I paid it twice in that month. She said, but you didn't pay it in September. So guess what? You blew the deal because I was unlearned. So I take all the information that I learned to come on radio, and I pay for radio. I pay to do this, but it pays me back. But I want to do it because it helps so many people. And the fact is, in 20 years down the road, I'll be 75, 77, right? And you'll be 20 years in your home with good equity. Now, I'll be on a yacht somewhere, fishing or whatever I'm going to do. Absolutely nothing. But I'll be able to say, man, you've been 20 years in your home, huh? I'll be able to go to some old files and call you up. Say, man, how you been? Say, man, I own 5 homes, Duville. Thank you for turning me on, man. I got 5 homes, apartment buildings. He said, man, I'm just living off equity. I'm living off residual income. But that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm setting you up for a residual income. Now, let's say this. Let's say you have property right now, and you have a great substantial amount of equity. What can I do with the? And that's what this family called me. They said, Duville, we got a family member that's a realtor, but she'll never talk about what you be talking about. You talk about residual. You talk about creating equity and yada yada. So, and he says, man, we want to take you to dinner. My wife and I just want to take you to dinner. We just got some questions we need to just pick you on. Again, there's so much you can do with the equity. Now, my thing was to say, you know what? Look. Let's use the equity, not for a new Escalade. They nice, but I got to make a payment with that. I need something that's going to pay me from the equity that I'm paying into on my property. So now I'm going to take the equity. We're going to put it on a duplex, fourplex, right? Now, a fourplex would be ideal only because that's 4 income coming in on that property. So now you could buy a fourplex as a first-time buyer. Did you know that? I'm not sure if you're aware of that. Now, let's say you're single or you have one child. You can buy you can have a family if you choose to live. You live in an apartment now, right? So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But let me give you this one. You maybe didn't think about it, but this just came in my email, just dropped in my spirit. Look, guess what? So there's a program. It's called a homeowner occupancy program, right? So we can give you the money down. You know, you can buy a fourplex with no money down, right? You'd have to live in one of the units for at least, well, now it's 1 year. Used to be 3 years. But recently it's changed. It's 1 year. Stay in that fourplex for 1 year in one of the units. You can rent the other three. Now, in 1 year, you can move out, right? Now you can use this as income property, as well as with the income you're making on the job, and go buy you a nice house. So you sacrifice 1 year to do what? To be able to have residual income. But now let me say this to those, but now again, that's for those who do not own a home currently, and you want to use a first-time home buyer program and do it with a fourplex. Now again, they're not in all the best of areas, of course, right? Right? Hollywood, I mean, some of those high traffic areas, high rental areas. But it's a sacrifice. I've had a lady, it used to be you would have to stay there 3 years, but things have changed. So recently we found out you have to stay a minimum 1 year. Now, you just can't rent it. Okay, owner occupant. You could do it as a veteran. You could do it as a first time FHA buyer, right? Because it has to be owner occupant. Like a veteran, you can't buy a home that you don't live in. VA won't invest into investment properties. It's somewhere for you to live. Okay, but if you've used your VA before and you currently are renting, you can use your VA again. So if you didn't know that, that's why the Deville Show is here, is to give you that information and to help you understand. You can use your certificate. You have to get it reinstated. Our lenders can do that. They have contact with VA, reinstate your DD-214, get you back on track. Now, some people have lost homes with their VA that purchased in the past. Let's say, once they sold the home, your loan was $250. Well, they sold the home and it paid off $220. Well, that $30,000 balance, they'll take it out of this new one. So let's say now the new one is, what did Dennis tell me, is based on your, FICO score. But I think he was telling me like $600,000. So if you can get a VA up to like $600,000, and they have to take off that $30,000 that you owed on the previous. But the good thing is you get a home with no money down. Now here's another one. This one just came to, well, man, I'm on a roll. Check this one. So I was talking to a lender. He says, the man says, well, I want to, and that was one of the things we talked about at the table with the dinner. They wanted to pick my brain. But you have a home that you purchased on your VA. Right? You bought a home, your current mortgage is on a VA. Well, what we found out is you can refinance it into a conventional. What does that do to your VA? It frees up your VA, right? So now you got a free VA. So you refinance your home, pulled out a little cash. Now remember, to pull out cash, you have to have a FICO score of at least, I think it's like 650 or 660, minimum. So many people have equity, but they can't refinance the home because their FICO scores aren't at the requirement. Also, you can't have a 30-day late in the last 12 months. So if you got a 30-day late, you could have $150,000 in equity in your home, but because you got a 30-day late in the last 12 months, you can't refinance cash out. Now you could possibly refinance. I'm not a lender, but these are questions. Like I was talking to Dennis in the parking lot. Thank you, Dennis. Dennis is tuned in right now, everybody, on Facebook Live. But as I was talking to him, at the end of the day, I get information directly from the lender, so I'm not going off the cuff. I'm going off their cuff. What they tell me, they're in that business. Now I'm in the real estate. My thing is to teach you how to do real estate, but you can't do it without a lender, right? So your first step. And let me clarify right through here. So people call me and they Google Greg Duville. That's not the number I give, but they call me direct. And that's okay. It's okay. But again, contact the office. The team is there to help you. Sometimes I'm just going to forward you to the team anyway. But the team's contact information is 702-787-7559. Contact the team, right? Team's going to get you set up. Listen, I have reduplicated myself in the team. Okay? So the team and I are one, right? So what I know, they know. And so when I tell you they know exactly what to do, they'll get you on the right track. We got Alex Wells tuned in right now. Alex, one of our newer agents, just started, but guess what? Alex is on a roll, right? He and I are working on. I listed a home, and he called me. Hey, boss. He likes to call me boss. Hey, boss, I got a buyer, man. I see you got a listing. I said, go show it. Tell me if they like it. They like the house. And he wrote an offer. I told the seller, hey, one of my guys in the office wrote you an offer on the house. He said, oh. He looked at it. He said, okay. He signed the offer. There you go. Tell him he got the house. So there's a lot of deals. So if you're thinking about selling that home, let Deville Realty help you. We've got approved buyers ready to go. I got a few in Henderson. I've got some that are looking in the Midwest as far as, Southwest area. And then we've got a ton that are looking in North Las Vegas. So we have a pre-approved buyer. So if you're thinking about selling, but you don't want to go through all the traffic and all that it takes to have people coming in and out of your home, in many cases, we can get you an offer within a few days. And now remember, for sellers, in order to get you the offer in a few days, it's got to be priced right. Now, if you're over market price, it's going to be harder to sell. No one's willing to pay over value. Now, remember, the appraisal value determines the value of the property, not the homeowner. With all due respect, Mr. Homeowner, I know you want $800,000 for your home, but when the appraiser came out, he said it's only worth $775,000. Now, if the guy's willing to give you that additional $25,000, he has to pay it outside of escrow because the max the lender's going to pay. Let me say that once again. The max the lender will pay is appraisal value. Now, appraisals are being rather conservative lately, so we've been seeing that, and that's okay. We just have to accept it is what it is. But remember, once an appraisal comes in on an FHA, you can't sell it to an FHA because it's attached for 60 days. So many sellers are choosing to not sell FHA. But again, use comparable market value. If a home like yours recently sold for, $480,000, don't try to go to $520,000 because the most recent value is where? $380,000. So maybe you could try to squeeze 10, maybe even 15, pushing it at 20. Because we tried that on a home and it came back. So, I'm big on pushing the envelope. I really am. I say, you know what? Worst case is we shoot for the star, we shoot for the moon, and we fall on the star, right? Right. So we'll price it 20,000 higher. But once the appraisal comes in, if it's 20, well, we kind of knew we were. And I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to do my homework and do comparable market analysis. Absolutely free. So if you're considering selling your home, listen, Greg Duville, this is what I do. I'm here to educate, empower you, get your best price possible, save your equity. If you're in trouble with your mortgage, I want to sell your home and save your equity. Can I do that? You got to contact me. Sell your home, save your equity. Don't let the bank take your equity. Now, they're supposed to send you any equity left over from the sale of your home. I haven't heard anybody, a lawyer came on my show and was, that's the law and yada, yada, yada. But I haven't seen anybody get a check. And I've been on radio and asking people, if you got a check after foreclosure, let me know so that I can testify differently. But right now, I can't testify to that. I haven't heard anybody getting in foreclosure trouble and get a check. But I can get you a check if you're in foreclosure trouble by selling it now. So what we like to call that is a pre-foreclosure sale. Okay? Pre-foreclosure sale. We're going to do it pre the foreclosure. Now remember, if you're in trouble with your mortgage, read your mail because the bank after 90 days, sometimes after 120 days, may put your house on the market on the auction block. But they will send you notification in the mail. So that's why I want to make sure, tell your family, if they've been honest enough with you, say, I'm in trouble, the bank may foreclose on me. And it's very uncomfortable. It's like having a car and you have made the car payment. So they're going to pick it up any day. People won't even wash them anymore. Like, you can almost tell you, I was about to be repo, man. And he didn't even wash the car. It's a nice car. But that's what happens, right? You could tell in real estate, same scenario. Listen, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just telling this is real fact. People are behind in mortgage. They won't cut the grass. They won't water the trees. They're like, why? I'm losing it anyway. So don't just lose it and your equity. Let me save your equity. So I can sell your home and save your equity. And we could we price it right, price it to sell. We could be done and I could get your money within 30 days. Within 30 days. So now let's say you have $150,000 in equity. Hey, Yvonne, good to have you with us today. Let's say you got $130,000, but your credit score won't allow you to get the cash out. You can refinance it, but you can't do a refi cash out. You can get a lower rate, but how good is that going to do? You got $150,000 in equity. So the way you were able to touch that to catch up on some things is you'll have to sell the property. Listen, you're not the first, you won't be the last. In many cases, you can buy again. I've sold homes in 1 year from the sale of a pre-foreclosure sale. I've been able to sell a home sell them another home within 1 year of the pre-foreclosure sale. So hope is not gone. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to get the money, pay your car off, pay down some of those credit cards. Within 6 months, your scores will be back above a 580. Now you have money and a 580, I could get you a house again. So you don't have to, let's do away with the myth of people saying you got to wait 7 years. No, you didn't get a foreclosure. That's where you've been missing it. As long as you don't get a foreclosure, and even with a foreclosure, you can purchase a home again within 4 years with extenuating circumstances. Bam, kill the game, right? This is what Deville's here for. Put you up on information. You be like, I didn't know that, Deville. Listen, if you get my information, call Deville. I know you got a family member that's a relative, whatever. If you get in the game from Deville, if I'm spitting game, call me up. Because at the end of the day, your family don't know. Like these people came and took me to dinner. They got a family that's, a realtor. But guess what? The realtors don't know to tell them. And many people don't want their family in their business. Like, I don't want to know my business. If you hear me and I'm talking to you and I'm teaching you, by all means, holla at me. 702-787-7559. Greg Duville, Team Duville. Hey, Terry Morgan. Good to have you with us. Now, keep in mind, if you're in default on your mortgage, you've been getting phone calls. Hey, I got a buyer for your home. Listen, you want a trusted real estate professional. The trusted real estate professional is Deville Realty Group. I've been in real estate over 40 years. Okay, I've been in real estate sales for the last 16 or more years. This is what I do. Now, I want to make sure you understand. If the bank forecloses, that money that you have is equity. They're supposed to give it back. But again, I haven't heard anybody getting it back. So let's do the pre-foreclosure. Read your mail, everyone. If you have a default mortgage, if your forbearance has ended, we're about 4 months out. It ended in October. We're going on 5 months out of this thing, right? So you're 5 months. So what happens in many cases is that people are getting notices that the banks. Last week I had Miss Debbie Conway on my show, on one of my other shows, and she made mention that we've been seeing more foreclosure filings in the last 4 or 5 months because during the forbearance they couldn't file foreclosure proceedings. But now that forbearance has ended, I'm not here to frighten you. I'm here to give you the gospel truth. Make a change. Sell your home, save your equity. Deville can do it. Sell that home. Look, rent for 1 year. Pay some bills down. Rent for about a year. Okay? You're going to rent, but you're going to be responsible. You don't need no more stuff. You need more shoes and clothes. Really? You need some investments. So you got enough clothes. I told my wife, I said, look, honey, I'm gonna build you a new closet, custom closet. And I want you to start on this end of the closet. And before 8 months, you can be at the other end of the closet. You don't have to buy anything new. You got so many clothes. I went to a lady's house. It was sickness. She had rooms full of clothes. Like, where you going? She got retired. Where you going? Just clothes. What investments do you have? The reality is shopping is a waste of money if you have no investments. Because the fashion is going to wear, but the residual income doesn't. Right? Create a way to create. If you like shopping, listen, that's more power to you. But find a way that you can get paid to go shopping. How do we do that? By owning real estate. Get you a duplex. Get you a fourplex. At least a fourplex, 3 of the other units will pay the mortgage. You get that one free unit that pays for your new car and a little shopping and the auto insurance, right? So now you get a new car and the apartment building is what? It's paying it for you. So now you have to go to work and be telling me, I owe. So off to work I go. No. Start some residual income where the apartment building is paying for itself, right? It's giving you an income every month. Not only that, every 4 years, you can refinance with some cash out. Pay some things off, start over again. Go get another fourplex and keep it going. You're young enough to do that. We're in our mid 30s, 40s, and 50s. Guess what? You got plenty of time to get into home ownership. The interest rate, like I said, if you don't have the money down, I do have some money. We got $20,000 per family. However, the interest rate is a little bit higher, but that's okay. Although it's a bit higher, you're paying 100% when you rent on rental with no return on your investment. At least if I sell your home with no money down and give you a 6%, you're still better off than a rental at what? 100%. And not only that, the rental at 100% interest rate with no return on your investment. So I give you 20,000, I charge you 6% interest rate, but guess what? You get a return on your investment. Why? Because the house value increases, right, over time. So when your neighbor sells, the values of the home increase. Guess what? That helps you. It's better than you helping the landlord and he sells and moves and takes the money. And guess what you've got to do? You've got to find a place to go. So rather than deal with this and your lease is about to expire, contact my team, 702-787-7559. Contact my team. Let us get you in position so that you can own a home in 2022. Because 2022 is the year of manifestation. It can manifest for you. But you got to make a move. You've got to make contact with Team Duville. This is what we do. I've been in real estate over 40 years. I've been in Las Vegas for the past 21 years. And I've been helping in real estate. This is what I do. I'm the broker owner of Deville Realty, the largest black-owned real estate firm in Nevada. And I'm paying to share information with the community because of my passion is to empower my community. To get you in a position where you can start creating generational wealth, residual income. Now, listen, there's a lot of ways that you can create residual income. However, real estate by far is one of the greater because guess what? Everyone has to lay their head down somewhere, right? So let me ask you this before I get ready to go. Do you own the place where your head lies at night? Do you own that place that your bed is, where you sleep every night? Because if you don't own the place, you're paying a mortgage anyway. You don't own it, but you're paying someone's mortgage. And they're reaping the benefits of the equity. So I say to you today in my closing, I appreciate each and every one of you for your referrals. Thank you for telling a friend. But don't stop here. I am my brother's keeper. So are you. It's important you share this information. Give it to someone that you know needs it. Help them to get in a better position in creating generational wealth. Because that's something we can leave to our children. And if you have real estate, create a will and trust. Okay? Put it in a trust so that when at your time of demise, they know how to entrust what you want with what you say. Listen, I'm out of time. Certainly, I'm not out of information. I am so excited to share with you, as usual, every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. Greg Duville, Team Duville at Deville Realty Group at Hot 702.5 FM. This is what we do. I will be back with you again, Facebook Live. Again, contact information is 702-787-7559. Or you can call my North Las Vegas location, 702-515-4100. Greg Duville, Team Duville, Deville Realty Group, the largest black-owned real estate firm in Nevada, and we're excited about it. So thank you for tuning in. Tell a friend for us to start creating wealth through equity. Have a great weekend. Be safe, everybody. Bingo. Checkmate.